make sure you turn the mics on. Okay.
All right, I'd like to call this order for the Farmington Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. And stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance.
The United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to introduce the zoning board of appeals members. We got Tom White, Jody Phoenix, Todd Russell, and Kelly Cochran, and Tom York. The board and staff with ever so valuable Sarah Mitchell, with the board.
Hey, Tom, can you put the mic a little bit closer to you?
How's that?
Let's try it now.
Ever so irreplaceable with Sarah Mitchell.
She'll like you even more now.
Don Weidenberner, code officer, and Ron Brand, director of development. We have two emergency exits, one that you came in and one in the back of the room to the left. This meeting will be conducted according to the rules and procedure of the Zoning Board of Appeals adopted on February 23rd, 2020. And has everyone reviewed the last meeting's minutes? Can I have a motion and a second to approve them?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Kelly, motion, and second by Jody. There were two legal notices published on November 20th, 2022 for tonight's agenda, ZB 1101-22, James Russell, and ZB 1102-22, Marathon Engineering. Okay, so I'd like to open the public hearings. We'll start with ZB 1101-22, James Russell, on 5040 Herndon Road, Farmington, New York. Requests an area variance to the provisions contained within Chapter 165, Schedule 1, Attachment 1 of the Farmington Town Code. The applicant has erected a 40 by 52 foot pole barn in the side yard. Town Code requires all accessory structures to be located in the rear yard portion of any lot. The property is located at 5040 Herndon Road and zoned A80 agricultural. So is anyone here on behalf to speak for it?
Last meeting, I'm James Russell.
And you guys state your name and address for the record.
James Russell, 5040 Herndon Road.
Okay, any comments or?
My comments are, as I applied for a permit. Along with my permit application with the location of the barn. Permit was approved, issued to me. We started construction. The hole placement for the pole barn was inspected by the town of Farmington. The framing for the pole barn, which was completed at that point in time, was inspected by the town of Farmington. And then you guys came in and say, hey, you can't have that barn back. So here I am with a completed pole barn on my property, with you guys telling me I can't have it there. That's the story.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, he is correct. He went through good faith, the entire application process. One of the assistant code enforcement officers signed off on it, actually got approved twice through the process, did the inspections up to, I believe they're coming for insulation or electrical when Huggy came out, and another code enforcement officer then noticed it's in a side yard with no zoning variance. At that point, he was 95% done. We had discussions without him completing it, would have held it. It could have been water damage, could have been a lot of damage to that in the 4 to 5 weeks we were waiting for this. So it is complete at this point. All we can say is it was a mess up at the building department end, and we're just trying to correct this for the homeowner.
Anything else from the staff?
Just that two resolutions have been drafted for your consideration. First one is the seeker resolution of type 2 action for you to act on, and then the second one is a resolution to approve the area variance to allow the building to remain in the side yard as constructed and approved by the town.
Okay. There's no public, that's any comments, any questions, comments from the board?
There's nobody online.
No, there's nobody online for this.
Oh, okay. All right, so then I will close the public hearing. Move on to the next one. Next public hearing one is ZB 1102-22 Marathon Engineering. I think you guys all received a letter saying that they withdrew this. So we'll close that public hearing. And we can move on to deliberations and decisions. So, do you have a secret to approve the motion?
I'll make a motion to waive the reading of the secret resolution and approve the resolution as submitted by the town staff.
Motion by Todd, and second
Second.
by Kevin. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. So the termination zone. We have a motion and second to waive the reading of the decisions and go to the termination of conditions.
Make motion to waive the readings and of the complete findings and decision resolution and read the determination and condition aloud by the chairperson.
Todd motion, then second. Second by Jody. Okay. The Zoning Board of Appeals, after reviewing the above five proofs, determines that the benefit to the applicant does outweigh any known detriment to the community or neighborhood. And therefore, the requested area variance to erect a 40 by 52 accessory structure, a barn, in the side yard area of the lot is approved with the following conditions. The structure shall be constructed in accordance with the approved building permit. All required construction inspections shall be performed and accepted by the town code officers prior to issuance of the certificate of compliance. You understand all of them? Okay, can you get a roll call vote, please?
Kelly,
Aye.
Todd,
Aye.
Jody,
Aye.
Conley,
Aye.
Aye. So you have your variance.
Yeah, is that the place that the country's lawnmower repair guy had? He Welch over there?
No, that's down the street from me, that was well down,
Oh, okay, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that was well down.
Hmm.
So, we did a lot of them over in front of the house this year, we put on the floor, we put on some of them on the back,
Very nice.
yeah. Reside, that new roofing, and new everything, so we done a lot of money with it. The barn was the last of the big projects, I just didn't know that we got ourselves in trouble.
You didn't, we got ourselves.
I was gonna say.
We didn't
Oh,
either.
on behalf of the building department, I do apologize, but thank you for doing this for us.
Okay, well, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. You do.
And just call us when you're ready. You're at the final, right?
Yeah,
Whenever you're ready.
except we're supposed to want some electrical, so I just figured he could stand off this week, and then I'll give you a call.
All right, whenever you're all set, just call us. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Russell.
Right. Other board matters. One of the topics is discussion on a keeping of chickens within the town of Farmington. Comments from the staff.
Okay, town board has a presentation by a resident over on Clovertail. The resident wants to have the town board consider amending the code to allow chickens on residential lots in a residential neighborhood. He happens to live right on the edge of the estates at Beaver Creek, right next to Auburn Meadows. He provided a presentation to the town board, which Dan sent on to you. And because that had gone on to you, I looked at some of the municipal codes that were cited in the document and provided you a critique of those codes. Today I was asked to provide a draft memo for you to look at, which I did. The draft memo asked the town board not to take any action at this time, Several reasons. One of which is the only temporary use permit that has been granted to allow chickens on a lot less than 5 acres involved, the one up on Hook Road. This is true.
Yes.
And believe it or not, that was 2 years ago. I can't believe it's gone that quick. But she's up for renewal of that temporary use permit. John has acted on that and given notice to her that she's got to come in and reapply for extending the temporary use permit. It gives us a chance to look at the records, the files, to see if there's complaints, see if there's any concerns from the neighbors. There'll be a public hearing where they can come and talk. I guess they've got a new neighbor there now that may come in. But anyhow, there are some good ideas in some of the codes. However, the model that is being recommended for the town to follow is from Farmington. And there's several procedural things that I point out to you in that code that really can't or shouldn't happen. One is granting a special use permit, which, yeah, you can limit the time on a special use permit, but there's got to be a valid reason for doing it. Because the courts have said, you know, a special use permit is something that once it meets the criteria for that district, it's granted and it runs with the profit. So to have something come up every year and they have to have John or some of the code officers go out there and count chickens to make sure that everything is the same as it was originally, there's a better use of their time and our time for dealing with that. Some of the codes don't even have the regulations for chickens in the zoning regulations. They have them in other parts of the municipal code. So basically, that's something that the town board needs to consider as well. So my recommendation is that we've looked at this, we've seen some issues here that need to be resolved. And I think it's important that we also recognize that with the incentive zoning districts, we would have to go back to every rezoned incentive zoning district in the town and change the permitted uses in that district because they were specific to an area. So, you know, when somebody moves into the neighborhood, it's kind of almost like a deed restriction. You have criteria that were enacted by the town board for that district, and there has to be some thought given to just not amending it on the willy-nilly. What I did is I drafted something for you to consider. I don't know whether you have had chance to review it. If you feel you would like some additional time to think about it, that's fine. What we can do is by voice vote, pass a voice resolution tonight, directing Tom to receive your comments by a certain date, and then have him direct staff to revise and resubmit it to you to make sure your comments have been included, if necessary, and then Tom will sign it and send it back to the town board. They meet on the 13th of December. Planning board doesn't meet until next Wednesday, the 7th. Whether they'll be ready to act on it or not, I don't think they're going to be overly excited about dealing with a special use permit because that falls under their bailiwick. And something that would have to be renewed every year would be not looked upon favorably, I don't believe, by the planning board, who has a pretty heavy agenda as it is. the thoughts of why this all came about today in such lateness. I apologize if I didn't get to it last week, given the town board and everything that was going on with a few of those matters, the public hearings on Farmington Market Center and other things took up a lot of time. That's my story and I'm sticking to it.
So we can either accept it the way it's written, or we can push off, and if you guys got comments, you can give it to me by Friday or so they have time to make changes to the town.
So you're not recommending any changes to the current town code concerning chickens, right? This is just in response to the residents' presentation and the town's response to them.
As a matter of fact, we're recommending the town board not do anything
Okay.
at this time. Because of what I said before about missing Tim Prim coming back before the board. I don't think it'd be right for you to recommend something that might be contrary to the conditions of approval that you had initially adopted.
So I guess I'll put forth vote for accepting the way it's written,
You have anything you want to say? Jim?
No,
Okay.
so we can do a roll call vote for that.
Well,
Appropriate or-
ask the members if they want more time.
Right, do you want more time? I don't know if I had to present it a certain way, or do you guys want more time to review it? And
Nope.
come back with some comments, or you good with the way it's stands?
I'm good.
I'm okay with it.
Mhm.
All right, so we will have a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
To accept it the way it's written.
and forward it on to the town
Vote
board.
on to top.
Okay, I'll, you can stop in sometime and sign it, whenever it's convenient.
Okay.
I've got one here, but it's got draft written all over it.
There, one of theirs might not.
Is the secretary on the ball?
Let's see, that, this should be one more.
Oh, mine says draft.
Yeah, I'll try to, before the town.
Well,
I'll try to get it there. That's my biggest issue, that I can never get here before you guys vote.
You have a key fob, right? You did? Maybe that's something Ron can leave in your mail folder or something.
Yeah.
For the ZBA, you can up inside it and just put it in the
Right.
folder.
I'll send you- I'll send you a text and let you know that. it's done.
Okay.
Or if you want, Tom, tonight after the meeting, I'll go down and print one out and you can sign it.
Sure, that's fine.
Oh, you're right here. You're gonna stay after the meeting?
So the other board you had is- Well, usually the first one that runs out.
I know. It's true. I'm normally staring at his headlights in the last 10 minutes because your remote started.
So.
That's why I backed the car's facing the other way.
So has everyone reviewed in the 2023 zoning appeals middle deadlines and meeting dates?
Yes.
We don't have issues with any of the dates at this point in time.
No.
We'll get a roll call vote to approve the way it is.
Kelly,
Aye.
Todd.
Aye.
Jody,
Aye.
I'm like.
It's supposed to just say all in favor.
Either way works.
Either way. Public comments? One was online.
Nobody on.
Director of Development update.
Okay, all of the easement documents associated with the sidewalk grant project have either been signed or are being signed at the present time. The engineers are having survey crews out to do the survey work for preparing the preliminary plans, which will be ready early next year. There'll be a public meeting. We'll explain where we're at with the projects, see how many of them they think we can do with the monies that we have. As you know, when we prepared the grant application, we weren't in the crazy state of things that we're in now with contractors not being able to get concrete and supply and labor costs and everything else under the sun. So it'll be interesting to see how we do with that. The other thing is that there is a public hearing coming up on January 10th, I believe it is, for the newest incentive zoning project over there on State Route 86. The power property, 2 large parcels, 216 homes and a few acres of combined limited industrial commercial along the north side of 96. The other things that are going on, the public hearing was finally closed on Farmington Market Center. Nobody had any issues with the Fisher report. We've asked Fisher to go one step further. They're looking at the latest costs that they have on record of signalized intersections, so that they have something meaningful. We have not gotten anything in the last 2 years from anybody. So in order for us to identify what some of these percentages are that Fisher has identified in their study, give them a dollar and cents estimate to look at. The other things that we're working on, the town board did approve a new chapter 74 of the state uniform code. It's the Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Codes and the State Energy Conservation Code. I think I said that right. But a part of that, now that it's been adopted, is to request the state to grant relief to the town to allow for sprinklers to be installed as part of commercial and industrial buildings. As you may remember, some of the buildings that we have had fires in. We had kind of a string of them along Route 96 there with Dollar General, and they at one time Park Place, and then the hotel. None of those had sprinklers. The one, well, John can talk about the one there better than I can at Family Dollar. They got a really good head start by the time they got there. Sprinklers would have helped save a lot of that building, and maybe not even had to have it torn down. Who knows? There are some new buildings in town that do have sprinklers. The new one over there on Corporate East by Home Energy, that zone.
The Sweatman building.
Yeah, the Sweatman building.
It's now occupied by Thruway Stone.
So, I mean, there are others. Okay, that I think the latest one was Beef Lisa's there, the ice cream beauty parlor over there. So people are aware of the need for it. They're not. The new hotel going in is sprinklered, right? The rebuilt hotel. So that's in the works. We've gotten a lot of support documentation from different ones. We also, if you haven't taken a ride lately, I urge you to take a ride, because you'll see the solar farm is up out there on Fox Road and Yellow Mills Road. And I found it very interesting to see, what was going on there. They expect by the end of December to be ready to flip the switch and start generating electricity. Most of the panels are up. It's just underground cabling now and connecting all the devices. So in a nutshell, that's it. Reliant Federal Credit Union moving along. We hope that we can move forward with Farmington Market Center. Maybe GLN will take off, who knows? Any questions for me? I mean, it's a challenge every day. I mean, something new comes along, like this morning. Hey, we need to hear from the zoning board. Okay.
All right, code enforcement officer.
So I have a Christmas present for you all. We have no applications for December, so we have no meeting. Based on your approvals you just did, our next meeting will be the January 23rd, 23 meeting. We won't meet again until 2023. We have an open clerk of the board position. Sarah doesn't want to work with us anymore, so if you know anybody.
It's been 2 years.
Right, you might as well just make it.
I'm glad you said it, because I was just gonna skip right.
I think it's just to add on to Ron's as far as the sprinkler code. We're basically the biggest thing we're trying to push. New York State requires everything at 10,000 feet or more to have a sprinkler. We want to limit it to 5,000 square feet and add in a monitored alarm system. As Ron says, we feel that would put a nice stop to a lot of the fires we've had in the area. We also have businesses, one that was recently built that built 9,950 feet. Just to get out of that ordinance. So it's all for the matter of public safety, and we've gotten a lot of agreements from local fire chiefs and stuff like that. There's a lot of research and a lot of stuff in New York State to go along with that. That's all I have.
That's it, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
I'll second.
all right. You're adjourned.